Welcome to the Matt Talbot Center St. Patrick's Day event. My name is Norman Schaffer, board member here at the center, and I'll be your host for this evening. While we can't be together, we are bringing you a fun-filled evening where we'll hear from people from around the world, we'll bring some Irish tradition to you, and we'll hear from some members that the center has helped by your generous support. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening.
2020 marks the celebration of 35 years of ministry for the Matt Talbot Center. Interestingly, all that we've done, all we've learned, all we've been through has prepared us for what we're experiencing now in this pandemic. We built housing to deal with homelessness. We developed a treatment program to deal with addiction. And in the last few years, we've been fortunate enough to develop counseling services for the mentally ill, for mental health issues, for the stress, the fear, the anxiety, the uncertainty that COVID-19 has brought about. Today, those coming into our doors are seeking help for mental health issues as much as addiction, and for these same issues as much as homelessness. Because of your support, we've been able to be there and will continue to be there for them. Thank you for standing with us. We ask you to continue to pray for us and to continue to support us as we continue in this mission in this 35th year of service. God bless you.
Many thanks to our all-star sponsor, Guild Mortgage. They've been a long-time supporter of the Matt Talbot Center, and we greatly appreciate all they have done for this center over the years. Thank you, Guild Mortgage.
Good evening. I'm John Keane, the Honorary Consul of Ireland in Seattle. And my wife Maureen and I are longtime supporters of the Matt Talbot Centre, and as has the Irish community over the years, been great supporters. As we get ready to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and I hope you all will have a happy and safe holiday, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Irish Ambassador to the United States, Daniel Mulhall.
It is my honour and privilege as Ambassador of Ireland to the United States to send the warmest St. Patrick's Day greetings to my friends in Seattle at the Irish Heritage Club of Seattle, and to all the Irish community in that great city, which I really enjoyed visiting over the last couple of years. I yearn for the day when I can get back, but on this occasion I'll have to greet you virtually, and I hope that you can celebrate St. Patrick's Day with as much gusto this year as is possible in a virtual environment, and that next year we'll be back to a in-person St. Patrick's Day with all the great traditions that go with the celebration of St. Patrick's Day across this great country. I'd like to say that Ireland is coping with the coronavirus like everyone else in the world. We've been badly affected by it. We've lost too many people, but we are confident that our economy will bounce back once we can put the public health phase of this crisis behind us. I believe that we're well placed to deepen further our relations with the United States in the coming years as both of our economies seek to recover from the ravages of the coronavirus. We have an extraordinary relationship with the United States based on the presence here of so many people of Irish descent, including the members of the Irish Heritage Club of Seattle, but also on the deep economic and business links that have developed in recent years, in particular between Ireland and Seattle, with so many Seattle companies investing in Ireland, so many Irish people working and doing business in Seattle. It's a wonderful two-way relationship, benefits both of our societies. I'd like to finish off by reciting a poem that I hope will remind all of you of home. This is W.B. Yeats's great poem about the Lake Isle of Innisfree, which conjures up the beautiful island on Lough Gill in County Sligo, which Yeats so missed when he was in exile in London. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
Great, thank you, John, and to all our Irish friends. And now to bring a little more Irish tradition to you, we've got the dancers from the Tara Academy. Thanks to the Irish dancers from the Tara Academy. It's always wonderful to have you a part of our event each year. You certainly bring a little bit of St. Patrick's to us. And now we're going to hear about Matt Talbot the man, about his life, his times, and how he's become an inspiration to people around the world to help them with their problems. I'm here with Father Hugh O'Donnell and Terry Fagan, all the way from Ireland, to participate in our St. Patrick's Day event. It's wonderful having them here. And again, they're going to give us a perspective on Matt Talbot the man. A lot of us know of Matt Talbot, but certainly not to the level that these two gentlemen do. And they're going to share about Matt Talbot and what he's meant to people in Ireland and of course, all over the world.
Was born in Dublin, not a stone's throw from Dublin Port in Dublin, and he lived in a place called Alborough Court. He was born in Alborough Court, and basically in 1856, his father worked for the port and docks, would be part of Dublin Port, and Matt came from a fair-sized family, and Matt himself, like growing up, would have only attended school for about a year, and so he born in a part of what we call North Inner City Dublin, and so he missed a lot of school, and eventually became of age that his father got him a job in WRE Books. It's a place called it's off called the North Lots, which is a little it's off a street called Abbey Street, which is in the centre of Dublin. It's a little laneway there off O'Connell Street. And Matt worked there in the wine merchants there, and his job was bottling wine and doing alcohol. And of course, Matt at a young age, all these bottles, these bottles were coming back, and some of them had little drops of beer or wine still in them. So Matt was sampling these, and before long, Matt had not so much addiction, but he liked to drink. Kind of got introduced to alcohol at a very early age, and he carried it through. And Matt had come home one night drunk from the job, and his father had given him a bit of a beating. And then he took him out of that job and he brought him to work with himself in Dublin Port. Now, Matt's father worked in a bonded warehouse on the port, and that bonded warehouse was the likes of whiskey. So Matt went from beer, wine, into the whiskey end of it. He picked up, like most of us would have done and still do today, you pick up with friends. They mightn't be the best of friends, but you pick up with them, and then before long, you're doing all sorts of things to get money for drink. And Matt would have been part of that system, that he would have done anything for drink. And the day came that Matt didn't have any money. He had no money. Matt and his brother Charlie were standing outside O'Mara's Tavern, knowing that their friends had got some employment, some work, and that they would be coming along very soon, and they would bring them in for a drink. So Matt and Charlie were standing outside O'Mara's Tavern, Cusick's pub on the North Strand. They were standing outside there, and the friends came along. And basically what it was, the friends just passed them by and walked into the bar, into the pub, and didn't ask Matt, had he got him out, didn't ask him, did he want to come in for a drink? And so Matt was taken back by this. Matt realised what all he was at doing, and all the hardship that he put his mother through the drink, and the fact that he spent everything with these people, and now they just passed him by, standing outside that pub. And so Matt had said to his brother Charlie, "Listen, Charlie, I'm going." He said, "I'm not hanging around." And Charlie is supposed to have said, look, Matt, hang on, they mightn't have seen us. So Matt said, "No, I'm not." He said, "They might come back out and ask us in." No, Matt said, no, he said, "I'm going." So Matt walked away from that pub that day and that evening, and he made his way up the North Strand Road. And there's a bridge there in Dublin, New Common Bridge. And it was there, which looks into the canal. There's a canal waterways goes through it. And it was said there that he reflected on his life, what he had done, through the drink, through the hardship, through the things that he'd done to get drink, and the hardships that he put his mother through. And he makes his way home to his mother's house. And the mother is surprised to see Matt coming in early and no drink on him. And then Matt then announces that, look, he's thinking of taking the pledge.
I suppose one of the things he had to face was, what is he going to do with all this time he has on his hands? Because all the time he had spent with his pals in the pub drinking, and that's how. But now he knew he couldn't go there, so he started walking around the city, and then he began to find there was a few churches open, and he started going in there and finding comfort, and and that he had a kind of an appetite for this aspect of life that he had neglected so far, because his thirst was being satisfied, as he thought, in a different direction. But now he realized there was a deeper thirst in himself, which he discovered really was for God. And this was the one that was going to overtake his life completely. I remember one incident where he was in the hospital, and as soon as he was allowed out of bed, he went missing, and nurse couldn't find him for his dinner, and they went looking around for. Eventually, they found him up in the chapel, and then the nurse was given out to him. This is recorded. She tells the story herself. She was given out to him, and he says to her, "Look," he said, I've thanked you. I've thanked the doctors. I've thanked yourselves, but now I have to thank the great healer, which was Jesus." And that was for him very much like, it was always very, yet it was no showy. His religion was not showy. It was just like the change that Terry is talking about, the hidden, everything about anything that would give an impression of him being a holy man or being anything special was hidden. He never wanted that. And that's why there's an extraordinary miracle. Suddenly now his influence is felt out in Seattle and loads of other places. Albert is able to keep this kind of focus, unbelievable focus on really on God in some way. So he will never miss his, he'll never miss his mass. He's a fearless kind of a guy. He's a small man in stature. All the family were quite small men, and often I find people who are small, they have a great fight in them and a great determination to achieve and to be constant. That was a great word of Matt's. He said what God wants is constancy. So he'd be very faithful to whatever he set his mind to. And the same was working. I mean, he was, as Terry would know, he was, as a worker, he was a great worker, very conscientious. I mean, he was very principled in terms of he wouldn't take a penny that wasn't his or wasn't owed to him, and he would make sure that he gave a proper amount of work for the money he got.
Was taken away. He was buried more or less into a pauper's grave in many ways. And then he was missing off the scene. So people began to ask, where's that holy man that used to go around and things like that? And then eventually word spread that Matt had passed away, And so people missed him then. And so then the stories came out about Matt's goodness, to what he was doing with his life and the way he'd overcome the addiction, the alcohol, and the way he helped people and things like that.
What strikes me is that almost immediately, as Terry says, it was almost immediately he was gone off the streets, and then suddenly people started finding solace and comfort in going to him and through his intercession, because he was a man like themselves. Like, you weren't kind of bowing and scraping to Matt Talbot. You were going to him like you'd be going to somebody and saying, "I'm short of something. Can you help me?" A neighbor. He was like a neighbor. And so, Terry, did you want to add anything else there?
Yeah, I like. As a local historian in the North Inner City and being connected with many ways around the Lady of Lourdes Church there, and I have met many addicts, drug addicts, who have come into Matt Talbot's tomb remains there in the church in Sean McDermott Street there. And of course, you'd be talking to them and they'd say, "Could we see the relics?" And we get the relics of Matt Talbot out for them, the whole. And then you hear these amazing stories. They're coming back to say thank you to Matt Talbot, that through his intercession that they were able to get away from drugs. You know what I mean? So so Matt wouldn't be just about alcohol. It'd be about a lot of other addictions that people would come to the church to visit the tomb of Matt Talbot in the Lady of Lourdes Church.
For me, he's an ideal person for this time, when I think we're so distracted. We live very distracted lives. If we're not addicted to drink or drugs, we're addicted to something else. There's so many gadgets in our lives. We're very unfree, and yet Matt's the kind of a guy who said, just put those aside, and you'll get a much better deal. So anyway.
Well, fantastic. I'm going to do a little close here, and then we'll wrap up. But well, anyway, a fantastic evening.
Thanks, Norman.
And thank you, Father Hugh and Terry, for really getting into the life of Matt Talbot and giving us all a better perspective of the life he led and what he's meant to people over the years. So again, I really appreciate you being a part of this evening, and I'm sure we'll connect sometime in the future. So thank you very much.
Greetings to all our honorary Irish friends and supporters tonight. 2021 marks the 35th year of celebrating St. Patrick's Day at the Matt Talbot Center, and hopefully our first and only virtual rendition of this great event. My name is Brendan Curran, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the current board chair of the Matt Talbot Center. Myself and my wife Amy have been closely involved in this St. Patrick's event for many years now, typically reeling in our extended Curran clan from across the Seattle region to join us for an evening of good food and fellowship. Sadly, it's another tradition disrupted due to COVID. But I think we can all sense that the worst of this pandemic is behind us, and the bonds of human contact will slowly be restored in the days and months ahead. It's been a brutal year for the city of Seattle, and we have seen economic carnage and collateral human damage on a scale that was unthinkable just 12 months ago. As the vitality of our downtown core collapsed, homelessness, drug addiction, mental illness, and human suffering amplified across the streets and neighborhoods of our troubled city. The lights went dark. But not every light was shut out. Down at 3rd and Bell, the Matt Talbot Center quickly retooled its processes to comply with pandemic protocols, implemented safety precautions for its staff, and maintained vital counseling and housing services for its at-risk members. You see, the Matt Talbot Center is a lean organization with a 36-year history built on necessity and adaptation to crisis. Over the years, we have seen it all. The El Salvador Civil War, the Cuban Mariel boat crisis in the 80s, the scourges of black tar heroin, crack cocaine, crystal meth, and opioids. Global pandemic. Our services are always available for any refugee, addict, or victim of abuse with nowhere left to turn. The Matt Talbot Center discerns the need, then pivots and responds, gathering strength in the faith of its mission, backed by the generosity of its supporters like you. If one good thing came out of 2020 for the center, it was the forced rapid implementation of technological solutions to maintain remote counseling with members unable to access the building. Through the continued financial support of our donor base, we were able to upgrade our hardware, improve network performance, power up Zoom, and run 2 successful virtual fundraising events, learning on the fly. In the years ahead, a new hybrid model of service will evolve for the center. Current members and graduates of the program will be able to maintain connectivity through virtual counseling to aid in their long-term recovery. Our doors will remain open to every Matt Talbot with nowhere left to turn, while our impact is amplified through technological innovation. This new hybrid service model will require the addition of smart and dedicated clinical staff and counselors. As city services continue to contract, the Matt Talbot Center's programs and services will have to expand to fill the void, maintaining its critical role as the refuge of last resort downtown. Our fundraising goal tonight is to raise $50,000. Every dollar you contribute tonight goes directly back to the street, so to speak, alleviating human suffering, providing safe and secure shelter, offering paths of recovery, and turning around human lives. Whether it's $50 or $5,000, understand it's money well spent. assisting in recovery of every human soul who walks through the doors of the Matt Talbot Center, and collaterally, the recovery of a great city we all love and cherish. Many thanks for your generosity and support tonight. God bless you all, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
And now we're going to hear from Terrence Lewis, co-director of the Matt Talbot Center, as he sits down and has a conversation with some of the members the center has helped.
Hello, my name is Terrence Lewis, and I'm here at the Matt Talbot Center. Today I'm going to be talking to a past graduate who has completed 1 year of the intensive outpatient program. And so my first question for you today is, what brought you to the Matt Talbot Center?
I'm an alcoholic. I've been drinking alcohol for about 50 years now. You know, before I came down here, I was involved in a shooting. I got shot and everything, you know, so I was just, you know, looking for a place that, you know, I had no idea where I was going to go or what I was going to do. I just wanted a place where I could just rest more or less and not anybody mess with me or anything like that, and just never knew what was going to happen the next day.
I was homeless for 7 years and addicted to crystal meth and heroin, and the meth had given me congestive heart failure, so I was dying, and a case manager suggested that I come to Matt Talbot for a year, so I tried it out.
So my addiction led me to a rehab facility where I met a couple people, and there they told me about the Matt Talbot program and the year-long IOP, and I knew I needed to make a drastic change, so I decided to come here.
Can you share a little bit about your life now and how Matt Talbot helped shape your life?
And I have really cleaned my life up and everything. You know, I volunteer. So if it wasn't for none of this would be possible, because I probably never would be here where I'm at today. I probably would have never made it off the streets. So everything is possible for being here, and this is the best thing I ever did was just walk through them doors.
Well, now I have 3 years clean and sober this month. I have a job. I live in the apartments upstairs in the clean and sober building, Traugot Terrace, and things are looking good.
Today I trust myself to make the right decisions. I don't make impulsive actions like I used to. I can trust other people. Today I have a good relationship with my higher power, and I'm very hopeful for the future. So, yeah.
We just hear so much about people talking about being hopeless, feeling hopeless. What was it about the Matt Talbot Center when you walked into those doors that gave you a hope that you can do this, that said that this is different?
Well, it's very simple. When you start working the program and everything, you can see where you are going. You know, for a while, you know, I really didn't intended to do anything I started out to do here. I was just going to use this to my benefit and rest up and leave. And I got into recovery, and then I got a sponsor and everything, and then, you know, life started to change. And after that, it's kind of like meeting new friends and going to meetings every day and everything. So it was kind of like I was guided into one direction. And that direction, I always had somebody there when I needed a question answer or something like that, or, you know, and then I found my higher power. Everything just kind of fell into place.
My year at Matt Talbot has helped me to get 3 years clean and sober, and so the future looks bright. I have a good job now, and the future looks bright.
This grace period is allowing me to formulate a plan for my future, get me into, hopefully, God willing, a trade school where I can make a living and, you know, not have to worry about living on the streets. So that's a blessing.
No, I really do appreciate you coming down here and sharing your story. your experience, strength, and hope. And if I could just give you the mic right now and give you the time to just share from your heart with our friends and our partners, what message would you have for them? If you just took the time and share from your heart, what is it that you would say to them?
I once heard that the most selfish thing that you can do is actually help another, because the feeling that you get from that is doesn't compare to any drug or any vice, and it's sustainable.
Well, it's been proven that connection's the opposite of addiction. And through the Matt Talbot program, they help us to be connected to our community through work or school, to our recovery community, to reestablish connections with our families. And so all these connections, when I am tempted to use, those connections keep me firmly ensconced in recovery. And Matt Talbot has helped me with all of that.
Because it changes lives. There are people that, you know, they put their hearts into this program and everything. Not only that, but when you come in here, you help somebody else. You're just not helping yourself. You are helping other people. Other people can see what you're doing, see how your life has changed and everything. So that's the thing I would say. You need to help these people. These people will help somebody else, and that person will help somebody else. So it all comes into a big circle.
I get asked the question about what are we doing these days with all of what we see in the media. Just know that folks are at our door regularly. We're seeing 3 to 5 new intakes every week. Our housing is full. The demand is great. The harvest is great, as it says, and the laborers are few. Our folks are doing all that they can and staying healthy. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you for all the support that makes our partners and our relationships with our staff work. God bless you all.
Thank you for your patience. And again, as I said, there's many ways to help create a legacy of hope at the Matt Talbot Center. First, of course, is donations. Second is praying for us. And third is volunteering. So there are many ways to get involved with the Matt Talbot Center, and we appreciate all of them. And as I said at the start of this evening, we have a generous donor who is doing dollar for dollar matching this evening on the first $25,000 raised at our St. Patrick's event. And when we reach our goal of $50,000, they'll double that to $2 for every dollar raised. So we could raise $150,000. So we appreciate your generosity and look forward to your donations. Thank you. And it's time for the Joseph A. McGuire Society of Jesus Community Service Award, presented to Father Stephen Sundberg and the Seattle University.
Hi, Father Steve Sundberg here. I just want to say thanks to the Matt Talbot Center for presenting the Father Joseph McGuire of the Society of Jesus Community Service Award to me and to Seattle University. I really do accept it, not just on my own part, even though this is my last of 24 years as president of Seattle University, but for all of Seattle University and the ways in which we've been a great partner. I think all of the 35 years of the Matt Talbot Center goes back to a classmate of mine, Father Joseph McGowan. God bless Father McGowan, who's died just this past year, who initiated this relationship with Matt Talbot, and then Frank Case, who was such a great stalwart of serving the Matt Talbot Center and telling us so much in our Jesuit community about it. We're very proud that you've connected with our different colleges and schools, with School of Theology and Ministry, with nursing, with addiction studies, with psychology, with so many different ways, and with so many Jesuits over the years. There have been other ways in which we've been connected to by being of some educational service to either the staff at Matt Talbot or maybe to someone that they've been serving. I remember one wonderful guy named Anthony Yak from Sudan that we were able to help because Greg and others brought him to us, and we just loved to have him as our student and kept in contact with him. Thank you very much for giving us really the privilege of serving someone like Anthony Yak. It really is a great partnership. It fits so well with what our mission at Seattle University about empowering leaders for a just and humane world with the mission of the Matt Talbot Center. Really, we're all about the same thing. We're glad that we've been able to be partners, and I personally, this is a wonderful award and a wonderful tribute. Thank you very much, and it means doubly for me accepting it in these the last months of my service as president at Seattle Youth. So God bless the Matt Talbot Center. God bless Father Joseph McGuire. I want to tell one story about Joseph McGuire, if I can. The very night that I was heading out to do my very first wedding rehearsal, the Jesuit says, "Oh, that's interesting. Father Joe McGuire just came by here, and he was heading out to do his 800th wedding rehearsal of a Seattle University alumnus." So Joe was a great mentor to all of us and loved the guy. And it means a lot that this is the Joseph McGuire of the Society of Jesus Community Service Award. So I'm proud of it. The Jesuits at Seattle University are proud of it, and the whole university is. So thanks, and God bless, and I'll keep you in my prayers. Thanks.
As we bring the evening to a close, I just wanted to say thank you to our sponsors and to each one of you individually for your support. Know that we cannot do this without you, St. Patrick's Day or any other day during the year. So God bless you, and we look forward to gathering together next year in person. Thank you very much.
As Greg said, I'd like to thank all of you for being a part of this evening. I'd like to thank our sponsors as well, and also the people who helped put this event together. It's quite the task. So I hope you had fun. I hope you learned more about Matt Talbot, the center, and the man. And I wish you all a very happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you.
Now please, pipes and drums, soldier song, where are the green? Fire, roll, 1,